too, right? They're guaranteed a decent prize pool. So this one's hard to call, right? I don't really know how to not say Aydan and Theifs. I will say for Ritual and Scrupools, they have been a very dominant team throughout a lot of this tournament. And throughout all of the Sunday Showdown, they are a team to constantly have your eye on. But it is going to be a big question. How can they keep up with Aydan and Theifs? How can they keep up with that slang aggression on the opposite end? But they also need to try to balance it out with not playing too aggressive. We've seen teams try to match that aggressiveness by playing even more aggressive. Funny enough, it hasn't worked. So by going to places like Paradise, by going to places that we saw earlier, like the Floating Island, they're going to have to rely on POIs like that to try to bring themselves into this game and have a chance at becoming Week 5 champions.
Yeah, definitely so, and we're all ready. Dropping into the action, guys. Tweet it out. Let me know in the chat. Rise Boys or Aydan and Theifs. Let me know what you think the score will be and who is going to take it. This is the finals. Loser already guaranteed $3,000. The winner taking home $5,000 to their name. A lot riding on the line here. And where are we at? Already a familiar place. We're going to Pleasant Park. Aydan and Theifs have favored this so much, but Theifs, he's already getting pickaxed, and there's no weapon up above, and that player's going to have a little bit of an advantage whenever it comes to going down just below, and he still can't find a weapon. This could spell disaster if he's not careful.
Thankfully, he does find
streamer
loot. Hashtag. There it is. Thankfully finds the epic Scar off the ground along with the common Tack, Shoddy. We know which one's better, and thankfully he has one of the most dominant players in all of Fortnite, Aydan, joining in or alongside of him. But like we talked about, man, constantly going toward Pleasant Park. It's worked for them so far, and they got to keep it up, right? This is the spot to go toward, and you notice they swap off weapons. The one weapon handed off is the Scar toward Aydan, and the scoped assault rifle given toward Theifs. If that doesn't reveal what their positions are in this game, I don't know what does.
You know, Theifs has always been a great support player. Aydan's kind of one of those guys. Coming from Tilted, obviously, he loves to get in and go hard and get, in those close engagements. If he would have hit that no-scope hunting rifle, I would have walked out of this room, and I would have been done with the stream. I would have said, you know what?
That's so casual.
I would have been like, you know what? That's it. And that would have been it, But, hey, with that being said, already a phenomenal start. Great communication between the two. We have 2 elimination coming in from Theifs. Aydan already has a couple himself.
Yeah.
They're looking strong. Pleasant clearly is the way to go. Guys, if you perform or if you compete at any of our tournaments at umggaming.com, which we have money matches for this, if you do any of that, this is definitely the strategy. Go Pleasant Park. You'll come out with a lot of eliminations.
Yeah, Aydan and Theifs, this has been their main place to go to, and it is absolutely showing results, unfortunately, for Ritual at the top of our screen. Going toward, I guess Chippy Shafts maybe isn't the best line sight to try and make happen, but regardless of that, the elims on our right side of the screen continue to follow suit. They're sitting very solid when it comes down to the weapons as well, right? Their inventories both are stacked. We see filled with rare and epic items along with a legendary compact SMG there for Theifs. They're sitting pretty. But take a look at this. Rise Nation bunny hopping their way in toward Tilted Towers. This is a huge point of the game, Taylor, and we'll see whether or not Rise Nation can bring themselves back or even try to hold on to the slang advantage that we see currently for Aydan and Theifs.
Well, Scrupools already picked up an elimination himself, and more shots just up ahead. The minigun was out. Ritual gets a knock, and that's going to be a full elim. They're looking pretty solid. They'll keep pushing forward. Their inventory, like you said, not too bad. Coming to Tilted, not a bad strategy either. But this is the first time we've seen at least Aydan and Theifs play without any contention. Usually the teammates, or their opponents stick right on their heels. So it's kind of nice to see some separation and some different strategies coming in, especially from Rise as well as Theifs and Aydan. With that separation, though, one side is going to get more eliminations than the other because they're going to be able to cover more ground. Maybe they'll find more engagements, with that being said. So I don't know. But one thing is for sure, the rotation from Pleasant, they can reach Tilted very easily, at least Theifs and Aydan. So, but I don't know. Hey, look, there's a lot of people in Tilted, and they are posing no threat to the boys of Rise.
Absolutely not. I just love that play. They're coming in from Ritual just as I start to give him a little bit of credit, unfortunately his boot will be shot out. A different shoe size probably is now it's going to be in order once this game comes to an end, but now it's all on Scrupools, desperately needing to find something, as it looks like Aydan as well saying, hey, I'm pretty familiar with this location. Tilted Towers is where I like to reign, and unfortunately for these Skull Troopers, they're going to be seeing the respawn screen. Ritual still down for the count, as it it will be Aydan who does dive upon this party, as it looks like Ritual might have just been res. At the same time, though, we advance toward Theifs' perspective as he's involved in a few engagements toward the floating island.
Does it surprise you, though? Theifs has stayed. After Pleasant has been going to Floating Island and been there consistently throughout this entire tournament, where Aydan breaks off. They've literally had the same consistent strategy every single time we have watched them. Don't fix what's not broken, right? It's been working for them, and it still is. Theifs, 5 elimination himself. Aydan in his homeland of Tilted, he's sitting at a total of 5 himself. That's 10 eliminations.
Yeah.
I believe, no, excuse me, 11 now as Theifs picks up yet another one. It's so 11 eliminations to, of course, Rises. I believe they're sitting maybe at 4 or 5 eliminations total. Aydan Theifs, they have figured out the strategy, and it's been working.
And along with their strategies of going towards certain locations, you have to give a massive credit to Aydan, right? There was a big moment where he decides to enter in toward Tilted Towers. Those are 2 eliminations that I guarantee you Rise Nation would have found. But he does it anyway because he knows that as long as you're finding elims on the map that the opponents are not, especially the ones that are around them, those are more valuable than regular elims are. So that's such a smart play coming in from Aydan and Theifs. And like we talked about, man, there are certain teams who just know the formula. They know how the format works, and they are constantly innovating strategies when it comes down to these elimination format, and they are absolutely capitalizing on it right now, as it looks like right now for Theifs, he is desperately trying to find a few more players surrounding the map. And as it looks like maybe a little bit of loot pops up, he thinks he might have spotted someone maybe toward the bottom side of this, but decides to go ahead and pull off his best Mary Poppins impression and continues to fly around.
Yeah, I like the strategy. Just, peer off into the distance. You have mobility with that. He's going to go ahead and go out, it looks like, towards the Dusty Diner area, and that's clearly a good strategy for him. He just loves to hang out in this spot. With that being said, Rise, they're going to be in this corrupted area, and they do have a red arrow. That's going to be Aydan right next to him, so he's going to be monitoring some of the eliminations himself. But Aydan using one of the stones, and nobody's going to be home as of yet. So finally they get some respite, and they're able to calm down a little bit, regain at least a little bit self-control, and just find whoever's going to be out there in the distance. The circle's going to be collapsing down. And Scrupools does find at least a ghost, or Ritual is going to find a ghost just up ahead, and there's also a llama too. But look at the shots. No teammates around. He's going to get the full elimination right off the bat.
And a nice play from Rise Nation, being able to capitalize on a player who was just kind of surrounding them, keeping in mind that there, I believe, was another player kind of around this position. Regardless, he might have been taken out or maybe at least brought to an afterthought at this moment. But one thing that I really want to give a lot of credit to is Theifs and Aydan. Reason being is that we see Rise Nation together. Theifs and Aydan aren't afraid to separate, and that's what they've been doing throughout most of this game, right? They land toward Pleasant Park. We see Aydan go toward Tilted Towers while Theifs decides to sit toward that floating island. From there, now we see Aydan inside of Salty Springs while Theifs was just around Dusty. So, they are constantly swapping throughout the map and not being right next to each other, which you could argue is a very risky play and one that does not work for hardly anybody except for these two. But, man, are they capitalizing on this strategy?
I go back in time to previous weeks, and it's really no surprise Aydan and Theifs break up because this has kind of been their strategy throughout all of the tournaments. Sometimes it doesn't work out, and they put themselves in 1v2 situations, but at least for them, it seems to suit them quite well. They're very confident in their abilities. Theifs he's a veteran whenever it comes to this format style of tournaments, even come back from Friday Fortnite, where he at least won a couple of them himself, or at least one himself, and I know he got second place in a couple too. Aydan, when it comes, really just Aydan's an animal whenever it comes to this game. So splitting up, it doesn't matter. Talking about Rise, though, getting that distance, ahead of the players, not too bad themselves. We're seeing Ritual. He's got at least some mobility, too. Looks like he's going to jump off. Might spot a player just up ahead of Retail. But, I'm surprised the engagements have been so low, at least pushing out. But finally, we're going to see Ritual. But he's getting shot from the...
Wow.
You talk about getting melted. He just got melted.
He's going to be down, right?
Where's his teammate? His teammate, unfortunately, is going to be right behind. And this player's out for blood. He's going to get fully eliminated.
He's got to fire a few shots. Scrupools, if you're in this position, he needs to start taking some bullets. But it looks like there are going to be 2 players outside of Retail Row. Problem right now for Scrupools is that he has a player or I think there was a player who was just right next to him on his flank. So as we take a look at Theifs and Aydan's perspective for the time, Scrupools has to be very careful at this point. Looks like he does spot a few players toward the bottom side. He knows that there are at least 2 here, and both of them are very, very weak. This is a angry Scrupools right now, and he is showing that in his gameplay. Easily takes down 2 and wants the 3rd as well. This would be great for Rise Nation's momentum coming into this match, and Scrupools, not happy, decides to find a triple inside of retail outskirts. Phenomenal play from him as they desperately try to take down and bring themselves back into this match.
Some big fights just up ahead. Of course, we see so many moments on top of Dusty Diner where a lot of players like to converge, and right in the face of Aydan is going to be one of them with the dual pistols. Luckily, it's not going to be connected, and he's not going to slow down. He gets one knock, goes for the second, already going for the third. Is he able to get it? That player is going to be just one shot hiding behind it. Should be easy work for Aydan as he's going to build up, and he's just going to come down like a flying squirrel on this player. And there it is. One shot takes out the Fable. And, of course, there's going to be more players just up ahead. He's not slowing down. He's going to be at 6 eliminations. And with Rise in a 1v2 situation and Aydan heating up this hot, this is not what you want to see. This is spelling trouble. He's at 9 elims at this point. He's been averaging, what, at least over 10 eliminations every single time we've been watching him.
Yeah, I feel like every time we look at his screen, he's in double digits without question. And now this is an awkward spot that Scrupools is put in. Do I stick with these 2, or do I try to separate myself? Realizing the potential disadvantage that this could put my squad in even more, but it looks like has 2 enemies just in front of him toward the southeastern side of Dusty as he will come to a close. And now Theifs and Aydan, 16 elims available as they are going to capitalize on the advantage they currently hold, as they only want to bring this game to an even stronger deficit for the Rise Nation squad. Theifs on our screen right now building his way forward and taking players along the way as the rockets soar across the screen. Theifs feeling even more confident in his ability to take down a few of these guys.
Currently, right now, Aydan had enough eliminations before he got those other 2 to match the score of Rituals and Scrupools. They're going to be sitting at 9 going into round number 2. And already, like I said, Aydan's already matched that. He's already surpassed that. Add on Theifs with 6. They're at least going to be going into round 2 if they just stop right here with what? Maybe a 7 elimination lead, maybe an 8, more than that. So it's getting out of hand. If I'm Rise and I'm looking on, I'm definitely a little bit nervous. And like I said, I'm a Rise fan, so I'm worried for them, to be quite honest with you. But they're not slowing down. 12 eliminations still to be had. They know where players are still ahead. They're going to be actually parachuting straight into them. They're literally saying, come and take me. I am ready to be a tribute, as they are going down. Look at that. Just not slowing down, Landon. This is getting out of hands, and Aydan and Theifs are looking to go into round 2 with a nice, considerable lead.
This is just strictly domination. All we can do is just sit back, probably what Rise Nation is doing right now, and just enjoy the view. These guys are a dominant force that you do not want to mess with, and dropping early is going to pretty much just cater to them even more. And that was a situation for Rise Nation that we didn't really know how to call for these guys, right? How do you play passive but aggressive enough to compete with Aydan and Theifs? I'm not sure if that formula exists or how thin of a line that is, but regardless, though, Aydan down in the game, and that could be a sigh of relief right now for Rise Nation, hoping that any advantage that they can find will help them have somewhat of a key in game number 2. Skull Trooper, you can't be resin like that.
They're
Neither
both
can
trying
you.
to
Oh my gosh! Look at all the loot
that
Thief now has in his possession, as he is going to gladly share that with Aydan. However, not if this last player has anything to say about it.
They're just all running to him, Landon.
They are, and good night, Wingman. Thank you so much for playing, as that's now going to add another elim for Theifs up to 9, nearly at double digits. However, the most important thing about this entire fight is that Aydan is still alive.
Aydan's still alive, and he's sitting at 15 eliminations, Landon. 15 eliminations. You take Theifs and match that with Ritual and Scrupools. That's tied up 9-9. Then you add on Aydan's score, and it gets out of hand. 15 elimination lead going into round number 2 so far, and still 3 players remaining. They could be going in with a potential 18 elimination lead. And you talk about needing a hot drop or needing to split up. That's what Rise is going to have to do, at least at this point, if they just stop playing right now.
that's got to be, like, as we're looking at that scoreline, I'm sure Rise Nation already has that in their head. They've been probably adding it up for the last, what, 5-10 minutes since they've been dead. But, yeah, the question now lies, despite, no matter what happens, right, leading into this game number 2, a hot drop is going to happen. Regardless if it's a split, whatever it may be for Rise Nation, I don't know where they go at this point in the game because so far for Theifs and Aydan, I don't know what their strategy is going to be heading into game number 2, but their splits are so risky, but they work, right?
Yeah.
They know how to play aggressively solo, and solo squads is by no means an easy feat to accomplish, especially as Fortnite players continue to grow and continue to get better at the game, especially the building aspect of it.
Sure.
So I don't know what you do if you're in Rise Nation's shoes. I mean, you could throw out Tilted Towers, Retail Row, but the deficit that they're going to have coming into this game, along with the consistent slaying that we know is going to happen from Aydan and Theifs,
It's crazy.
Rise Nation, they're going to need to put together a very solid game plan to even have an opportunity to come close to this advantage that the opposition is going to have.
Yeah, it's insane, and already shots are going to be fired. Aydan's going to be going on the attack along with Theifs, and it looks like the final team is just up ahead of them. Look how quick Theifs using that mobility, using the grappler to get just onto the side of the player. He's going to get one knock, another one just ahead of him. He's going to be distracted. At least RPG's coming in. Almost got on top of the build to be able to shotgun him out, but not able to do so. But like I said, if they pick these up, which it looks like they are not slowing down, they're going to easily pick it up, and there it is. That's 3 more. They're going into the second game with an 18 elimination lead.
That's crazy.
18 elimination lead. You already heard Theifs talking about the strategy. He's like, we're following them. We're landing wherever they're landing, and wisely so.
Yeah.
So if I'm Rise and I know that bit of strategy, I'm splitting up. I have to. I mean, there's really nothing I can do. If you stay together, you do maybe a cold drop, and you can't afford to do that. You have to split up. You have to get ground over Aydan and Theifs. But it's...
You have to be crafty, too. When a team's on your heels, you have to be crafty. We've seen plays like from Nick A30 last week. There was a moment where he actually had a, I think, what was it? I forget exactly what it was, but it was basically a mobility tool. I think it was a launch pad. And what he did was that he edited the wall to make sure that the entire structure would be gone once he jumped off of it. And that was whenever his team was down, and they actually ended up winning that series to move them forward in the bracket. So little things like that, hoping that you find mobility ahead of the opposition is what you're going to have to rely on, especially if they're playing on your heels. So Rise Nation, what do they do in this situation, right? Like what's a landing spot they go to that they feel comfortable enough in? Maybe if you go toward Tilted Towers, I would say versus any other duo, that duo would probably stray away from it, maybe play toward an outskirts place, maybe something along the lines of like a Shifty Shafts. But there happens to be one player in this lobby who loves Tilted Towers, and that is going to be Aydan. He's not going to mind if Rise Nation go there. Why? Because he's there often.
Yeah, I mean, how could you get?
He clocks in from 9 to 5 every day.
He literally does. That, I mean, it's literally is it Aydan or Nick Towers? I don't know, but
it's Aydan's Towers.
Hey, look,
it's Aydan's Towers.
Hey, we see Nick and Aydan fight off against each other constantly. Aydan's usually winning them, but Nick is the veteran. That's in
the Sunday Showdown. I'm going to call him Aydan's Towers.
All right, that's fair enough. I'll give you that. I'll give you that. Well, where are we landing? I already see one of them. That's going to be Ritual. He's peeking at Tilted. That's where he's going to be going. And Aydan, where's he going? Pleasant Park again. Pleasant seems to be the area where, as you see Theifs, he's going to be following one of the players over here on Greasy. And I believe that's going to be Scrupools that he's following. So we got Scrupools, who's going to be at Greasy, and we have Ritual. Oh, they're both at Pleasant. Excuse me. I'm dumb. So now we're going to have Scrupools now, or excuse me, Ritual. He's going to be at Tilted.
Oh, boy.
Scrupools, I don't see where he's currently at, but he's not going to be at Tilted. He might have went to Floating Island. That would have been a good area for him to go to, actually.
I would say, like, what, Retail, Floating Island, Salty Springs, probably one of those locations would be safe to say.
It's a hot drop.
As Theifs immediately finds the first blood off the break of this game, and now all we can do is focus on the top left of our screen. Ritual has to put on a performance and a half just to bring this one even close. As he pulls off a nice little 360, the player decides to put the build in front of him to ruin his party, as it looks like he's on the chase, and all these eliminations mean so much. As it looks like we do say goodbye to one player, there's going to be many more needed for them to bring this one to a level playing field.
Yeah, it's going to be a crazy, you know, we always talk about it. We have to focus on the person in Tilted. I wish we could see Scrupools' position because he's already getting some eliminations himself. But look at Aydan and Theifs. Look at these guys. Theifs already at 2 eliminations himself. We have one for the man of Aydan. They came in with an 18 elimination lead, and they're continuing that so far. I believe at this point, Rise, just with the eliminations they've got, they've only matched it. Why is Pleasant such a hot drop? I don't know. We saw Trevor May go there. We saw Brett Phillips go there. We have seen now Ghost, Aydan, and Theifs go there basically every single game. We've also seen other teams too. I don't get it. I don't know why Pleasant is such a hot drop. Maybe it has to do with the floating island being back at loot once again. Maybe that allows for a rotation through because you can use that for the mobility, which we've seen so many times from Theifs. But one thing is for certain, you know, Ritual, I thought it was going to be a hot drop, but it seems to be relatively slow. But he is going to get tagged up. This fight is going to be a lot riding on the lines for it.
Yep, big moment. And the shots need to come in. They need to land, and they will do exactly that. However, you need to be specific, Landon. On Ritual's side, he needs to land these, not the opponent's. Looks at the pump shot. The trusty one at his side. Receiving some shots from the opposite angle.
How many people are in tilted? Should I go there?
And will tag a few. You hear the communication, the laughter.
Like everyone's dying.
A much-needed emotion right now when it comes down to this point in the game, as the only emotion that they're probably secretly feeling is the negative side, but it looks like it will be a John Wick just toward his side. Decides to focus his attention on one player in front of him. Keeping in mind, these players are dropping. They're also quickly getting eliminated. There are at least 2 teams that were here, but not if Ritual has anything to say about it. Goes for the edit and hops back up. And it looks like as the player decides to charge back up his shotty, this one could be good as Ritual desperately trying to get towards 6 elims, and he will find that with one more shot to land. However, still, these are players getting knocked. There's at least one more guy here, Taylor, to make sure that he can find all of these kills.
Oh, good edits, but that player is ever so elusive. He's going to be just to the left, and there it is, making quick work. I believe he only had 17 health. That's 5 eliminations, so not a bad job coming in from Ritual. But you did hear the communication. Should I come to Tilted? Is there a lot of people? You heard the laughter. It says, no, everybody's dying off so quickly. Look at the lobby. Look at the amount of engagements still remaining. There's only 34 engagements remaining, and you talk about an 18 elimination lead, even maybe more at this point. There's not enough people remaining.
And I will say, we were questioning, where did Scrupools land? Where did he go? We actually saw him toward that floating island along with Theifs there. He actually ended up stealing one of the eliminations that Theifs had. So that's pretty important to know the situations, the positions where both of our players are. And we were kind of joking about it. Maybe since we witnessed Scrupools kind of calling out, saying, hey, do you need any help toward the towers? He might be joining alongside of him here shortly. So that's something to kind of keep in mind.
Definitely so. If you are a Rise fan in the chat, they need your love and support right now, but Aydan and Theifs look like they are not slowing down. This floating island, the rotation from Pleasant has been exactly what they've been doing all this time. And they look like they are working it considerably well. Ritual trying to gain some ground. He's going to be moving over towards Dusty, it seems. Theifs like trying to find this player,
They're still playing aggressive, and that just boggles me, right?
It's just their style, Landon, They're
their play
so
style.
confident.
Oh, yeah. It's just that I'm so used to seeing a team with an advantage play passively, but that is not in Theifs and Aydan's DNA by any means. They continue on this aggression, which is such a scary stat line as this Pumpkin's about to say goodnight. But still, man, like that's the scary part about facing off against this team. Many times when, like I said, one team has an advantage, they play passively, and that can allow for the opposition to bring themselves back into a game. However, not the case. Not the case at all. Aydan and Theif are almost playing more aggressively than they did in the first game, despite having, what, a 15, 16, 17, 18 elim advantage.
Yep.
It's crazy to witness, but you got to admire it, and you got to respect it as well.
You definitely do, as we saw a Portal Rift being used, and both Theifs and enemy opponents ended up getting taken out from that, and they just ended up separating a little bit. And there it is, yet another elimination in the hands of Theifs, and another one, as that's going to be 2 more to bring them up to 4. And I think it's been very quiet so far for Scrupools and Ritual as they've been trying to cover some ground. And now Aydan is going to be sticking next to him, and wisely so. This is the time where Aydan, at least from what we've seen from his strategies, he likes to push forward and stick with the team. But now actually he's going to break off. Look, there's just opponents just below him. And that's really unfortunate because Ritual, both Ritual and Scrupools, they missed those opponents. They passed just by them heading over to Dusty.
Yeah, that's a huge misstep for them. Unfortunately, they're not going to have any idea that those players were there, but yet again, another positive, another chalked up moment for Aydan and Theifs as the scale continues to be given weights toward their favor. And for Rise Nation at this point, they're just trying to have they're really just trying to have somewhat of an opportunity to spot players that Aydan and Theifs are. They're looking for some mobility. They're looking for really just something fresh, and they just aren't finding it. They're not finding, huge eliminations and bunches. Unfortunately, we can't see Scrupools' screen right now, but props to Aydan and Theifs. They are continuing on this aggression and just making it look so effortless. And I'd imagine as well, for Ritual and Scrupools, one thing they have to consistently worry about, Taylor, is I'm sure they know being down in this game at any moment, Aydan and Theifs can just ignore all elims left on the map and just pretty much surround. So send Aydan with Ritual, send Theifs with Scrupools, and pretty much just mirror them. That strategy could come in at any point, and that's going to be another little facet probably in the back of Rise Nation's minds they are constantly worried about.
Yeah, I mean, and they have to be, right, at that point. We're trying to build this up, but, I mean, one thing is for certain. Rise is running out of opportunities with only 21 engagements remaining. Aydan on the heels of Ritual. It's going to be so incredibly difficult. If Rise makes this happen, I will shave my head bald. I promise you I will do that. So, Rise,
let's see if chat, if you have never been more motivated, I think we should all just group around and support Rise Nation. Theifs and Aydan, granted, guys, that's a lot of cash. The prestige of being Week 5 champions is a lot, but if we could all gather around support and make sure that this would happen, I'd be okay with that.
And look, I want it to happen. I want Rise to make this comeback possible. Like I said, I'm drinking G-Fu out of a Rise Shaker Cup. Definitely a fan of them, but I called it beforehand. Theifs and Aydan, I believe they'll take this. 5 eliminations for Aydan, Theifs, just as many himself. And nobody's going to be home as of yet. It's just really, it's been a quiet game. It has been a very quiet game. One of the most quietest games that we have seen yet. Normally they're popping off left and right.
Oh, no.
But there it is, Theifs. He's going to find a couple more. They are literally not moving. Like
What's that sound?
They are literally just sitting there getting exploded, and they don't mind it at all. Rituals, though, is going to get one.
And Scrupools is just, like I said, just 1 second off at the same time Ritual is involved in the kill feed, but Scrupools just, half a second too slow to find those engagements himself. Theifs, one more shot should do it for this opponent. And if he were to find this, you could argue that is the nail in the coffin. Aydan comes from the skies and takes it down, as it is looking more and more grim as the game continues on. You see the laughter from Aydan and Theifs. They feel very confident, and they have every right to feel that way.
At this point, it's getting to the point where it's mathematically impossible. You see Aydan now at 8.
Oh, but then Ritual,
again, Ritual, yeah, you're right. He just picked up, 3 or 4 himself. So, I mean, hey. But there you go. You just heard Aydan said we won. They already calculated. They're looking at it. Hey, look, Rise came in. They played incredibly well throughout this tournament, but you had a powerhouse team to get through of Aydan and Theifs, and when you're down 18 eliminations going into round number 2, there's not a lot you can do at that point, but congratulations to Aydan and Theifs for coming through. We have now crowned a victor. And they have been fighting it out for so many weeks to get to this point.
They have.
And now here they are, champions and $5,000 richer. But you got to give it to Rise with $3,000 in second place. Man, what a